Hello, my fellow chatters of book lovers. I am going to be embarking on a new project. I have got a week where I am going to reorganise all of my shelves.
When I started buying books again and growing my home library, I loved reorganising. Having different books face out to enjoy the artwork, bringing favourite books in the spotlight, having new books look at me so I could appreciate and anticipate them. But as it grew, my shelf space did not. So after double stacking, side pile Jenga, it's become less a showcase and more a Tetris puzzle. And now there is no organisation, and fitting a new book in is daunting.
And it's no longer bringing me the joy. So I have a week where my husband isn't here to get stressed about me having piles of books everywhere. So I'm taking everything off the shelves, reorganising, dusting, cleaning the shelves, and then working out how to put everything back on and if I should. So this shelf here has been my hob shelf for quite a long time. But as I have the first year trilogy I'm currently rereading, is not on here. I've got the Belladonna series here. I'm quite happy to take everything off and see if Hob can have new places to be. We're also going to find some hidden books at the back as well as I do this. The shelf above and below are my husband's, which I am also going to be clearing off and reorganising, but I'm not going to be going through his books. I am just going to be focusing on my ones, but I will be reorganising his and putting them back on the shelves. And I'm armed by my handy duster. So hopefully the shelves will be nice and clean to go back to. Voila, an empty shelf, now we just need to dust. Already I'm struggling because I've got paperbacks, adult epic paperbacks, adult epic hardbacks, but we've got two different sizes. Do I need to maybe think about the sizes? I've got YA, a mixture of romance, urban fantasy and kind of spooky fantasy, classic middle grade, and a classic dystopia. And I don't know what's going to be the best plan for them fitting on the shelves and what's going to suit me for how I'm going to be putting them there. Hi, me in the mirror. I don't know how this is going to work, but I think we'll just get the books off the shelf and then worry about it. Good morning. So last night, for me, I only cleared that one shelf. And then I decided I was just going to clear all of the books that belong to my husband, go through those, reorganise those, work out how that was all going to work, and then move on to mine. So then at least his books would be in the right place, because mine are going to need more brain power. His, I already had quite a few ideas on that I wanted to organise the non-fiction together and similar authors and things, and his books very much were Jenga. I've finished a book, let's squeeze it onto a shelf. And I do have his permission. I did message him before starting this project going, are you happy for me to organise your books? Can I take them all off the shelf and reorganise them? Is there any one specifically you want in any places? And he was just like, I really don't mind, go for it, have a great time. So I am. And I will just show you the chaos that I currently have. I'm hoping to try and finish sweeping all the dust off the shelves and maybe getting a few more kind of on there. I think that it's ambitious before we have to make sure the children are organised and we can go to mass. So we'll see how it happens this Sunday morning. Just behind me here, I have half my April books that I wasn't using in the middle grade reading recommendation because I still haven't done my April wrap up. So they're still there. I've got May and June books that I've read falling all of that. It's just a mess. Firstly, I've got 3 more videos I want to make and put up, 4 including the first part of this one when I have enough footage for it. And then I need to start clearing all of my wrap-ups, and I feel like having got all the Journey-a-thon stuff pretty much done now, I can then go back to wrapping up stats for April, May, June, and then I might be on track and I won't have books just kind of hovering, waiting for me to talk about them. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, here we go. There's the shelf. Those piles are organised piles to help me work stuff out. And then again, more organised piles. And all of those books, plus those 2 stacks of books there, need to go on that bottom shelf, and those top 2 shelves there, because I thought I'd swap the shelves around, and I'm going to give myself the one with all the ornaments on under and They Lived Happily Ever After. I'm going to give that to myself. So then these 2 shelves here are mine, and you can see them in the background of my videos. That is the plan.
So these are my husband's bookshelves. The top left is the top shelf, and it's got a lot of vertical books with other books put horizontally on the top of them, which looks very messy, and there is no order to it. Bottom right are the 2 bottom shelves, and they've kind of got just piles of books just popped in front of them just once he's finished with them. So I just want to neaten them up and kind of bring a bit of order to them.
Did actually get a shelf done. Feel very proud of it. It's all nice and clean, and the books look so much better. And this is all organised chaos, and I will deal with it after I get back from maths. Yay! So by the end of Sunday, I also managed to get these shelves done. So here we've got all the fiction stacked up. I'm very excited that I've managed to get Ken Follett books all together here. And then here we have got all of the non-fiction. And actually we have space for double stacking because they go back. I've just pulled them forward, so this pile of books that's stacked horizontally doesn't just stick out and look too weird. And then here we have classics and fiction up here, and as you can see, we have room for more things to grow. I'm going to be taking all of these off and then working out how to put them back on again. So I'm going to get all of the hardbacks piled up in these piles and sort of organised, and if there is any books where I'm not sure if I feel like I'm going to want to read them, or they kind of came in a subscription thing and nothing has really grabbed me about them, I am probably going to do a little sort of like chapter try and then make a decision as to whether they should stay on the shelves or leave the house. Find it annoying when books are like different sizes. So I've got 3 here. So this is kind of like a standard hardback size that quite a lot of the books seem to fit. This one, which is The Nature of Witches, is obviously a lot smaller, but The Library of the Dead is, it's really hard to see because it's not, I haven't got a firm, it's balanced on top of another book. There. So you can see the Library of the Dead is slightly bigger than The Nature of Witches, so it doesn't quite fit. And I'm now questioning which one is the more consensual, which is the more standardised size. Okay, so Nature of Witches and The Kingdom of Back are the same size, and then the Library of the Dead is just ever so slightly, just ever so slightly bigger. Like it's like maybe like half a centimetre. It's just kind of annoying because if I am going to be able to like stack them, that it's just not going to be quite right. It's irritating. I don't really want to be organising by sizes because I want to be organising by like genre more than sizes. But yeah, Library of the Dead is this, and the Iron Widow duology. They are the same. They are the same size across there. It's annoying. It's annoying. Not even on the shelves, but I'm just trying to organise the piles a bit more clearly. So I've just put the Starless Sea on top of like the more epic fantasy ones, just because it's the same size at the moment. I don't have anywhere else to kind of put it. Final Strife is epic, from what I understand of it. The Starless Sea and The Nature of Witches, and I feel The Kingdom of Back are more kind of whimsical. So I'm keeping those ones together. And And then like Iron Widow and Heavenly Tyrant are sci-fi, and Library of the Dead is kind of like fantasy horror. So they're sort of just by themselves slightly at the moment. Silver in the Bone is another fairy loot, which is a really lovely addition with these sprayed edges. But I don't think the synopsis really gripped me. So this is going to be another one that I'm going to add to my like trying it out pile to see what I think of it. So this box that I've covered in wrapping paper, I made just to make my book stand a little bit higher, because I wanted to put this and they lived happily ever after sign in front of them. This was a gift from one of my friends from uni for my wedding, and I just think it's really cute. So I like to kind of leave it propped there, even though it can be a little bit of a hazard sometimes. It's so good to do this, because quite a lot of these books have just been languishing at the back, and I feel they're just missing out. So I have read The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fite and really enjoyed that one, but I have read one Anne Tyler book and really enjoyed it. It's not usually something that I reach for, but I think this would be a great book. This is definitely a great book just to have, should I be in the mood for that type of thing. So I feel it probably needs to like have a little bit of time, like more in my eye line, so I remember it exists. These are two of my Shelterbox books, and same thing, like I feel they need to kind of be given more of a focused time. I've got two sort of YA fantasy paperbacks here, Arrow to the Moon and Twin Crowns. And I think because I just have so many fantasy books and so many fantasy books I want to read, I think I probably am just going to need to do a little bit of a chapter taste test with these ones as well. Good morning. So having cleared all those shelves upstairs, I am just going to go through a few books that I'm not sure that I want to keep hold of.
A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft, which is a YA fantasy romance. This was in the January Fairy Loot this year, has artwork on the end pages, under the dust jacket on the naked hardback, and has some beautiful roses spray painted on the edges. An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X. Arpan is another fantasy romance, though this one seems to have more of an urban setting. It's a paperback with teal edges and is signed. So I'm going to try a little bit of them, read the chapter, maybe kind of flick through a little bit further and just see if the story is kind of like clicking for me, if it's intriguing me, if I do actually feel I'm going to be surprised and think actually this will be a really me book that I want to read. I think all of them I could easily read, but I think they're going to be kind of like ranking more mediocre in terms of my tastes. So I've got so many books I want to read. I don't want to waste my reading time on things I'm not going to absolutely love. I'll let you know which ones I am going to say no, it's not for me, they're going to leave, or if I'm like, actually no, I do really want to read this. So I'm going to enjoy a little morning of drinking my tea and reading, and I'm going to start off with A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. I've read the first chapter of A Fragile Enchantment. The pace is quite quick. You're given a bit of backstory and then you're taken to when the main story is happening, and we're introduced to this new life for our protagonist.
there's some kind of like hierarchy between those sort of with magic and those without, from what I can understand. And she's really skilled being a magical tailor. So she's been headhunted by the higher society, and she's going to be making the wedding clothes for the rulers of the land. So she's now in the palace and is about to meet the people that she's going to be working for, even though like she's kind of treated as a second-class citizen, but she's motivated by trying to feed her family and look after her family, although her grandma thinks she's being a traitor. But I'm not quite feeling the tension. I'm not quite feeling the tension there. There was quite a lot of information kind of thrown at the beginning. I don't quite feel I've got a sense of the character. The chapters ended with kind of the meeting of these royal people, and demanded like, you know, who are you? How dare you kind of like come in here? So we're immediately getting kind of like standoffishy, angry vibes from this other person who I feel is possibly going to be the love interest, and there's going to be kind of a hate to love kind of thing going on. I'm going to flip through a bit more because I don't feel that's a huge amount to go on. I want to give it a chance, so we'll see. This was kind of sold as like Regency, like fairy tale Regency with sewing, which is not anything I've ever read, but I do enjoy Regency, so that kind of like period. But in terms of like the society manners and the comedy kind of aspect, we'll see if I get any of that, and I'm gonna skim read a little bit of the next few chapters and see where we go. Okay, I've skim read a few more chapters. I just started skim reading chapter 4, and I'm pretty certain this isn't gonna be for me. I can see. No, I can't see. It's a lie. It's not interesting me. I don't quite understand it. So you've got this mating between the tailor and the prince. So the tailor's called Neve, and there's the prince regent who's called Jack, and then his brother or something, the one she's designing the wedding clothes for, that's a bit surly with her, is called Christopher, known as Kit, and they're not meeting at all. He's just very angry and very dismissive of her. She feels a bit incensed, but it's very clear that this is going to be the romance. And she's gonna make a suit for him, and he says he'd rather, I can't remember, rather go naked or something to wear anything that she's got. So just really, really rude and offensive for no reason. Then she does some sort of like magic to kind of prove her craft, but he kind of refuses to be won over, even though he clearly is impressed. And then you then are kind of given this chapter sort of trying to explain the way the political unrest is. So you've got a load of the second class citizens, I think are called the Malkish. I don't quite know how you pronounce it, which is what Neve is, which is why they left, because they were kind of oppressed. But there's no magic happening. So the ones in power don't have magic, and the ones that are being subdued do have magic, and they're all servants. And she's like, well, why are they not using magic to kind of like move things along a bit quicker? This is really strange. And then she runs into like one of the Prince Regent's friends. He sits and have a chat with her, and there's a gossip columnist that upset the Prince Regent. And the columnist is kind of like showing like the political unrest. Servants are walking out because of how they're treated. Other people are like not trying to deal with the problem. And it sounds like she's got sympathy for the Prince Regent rather than her own people. I don't quite understand that. I don't quite understand why she's feeling, just because he was nice to her compared to Kit. And then she's asking advice, like, how can I make his clothes if he doesn't like me, from this person who's his friend. And I don't know why he's talking to her. If this is kind of the political thing, why are you talking to a tailor? Like, if you're aristocracy, why are you chatting to her? Why is the Prince Regent so keen to chat to her and make sure she's okay and apologise for his brother? It's just not clicking. And why is she not more interested in how her people are being treated? It not working for me. I don't quite understand. It's like she's automatically sold this kind of concept of supporting the people in power, and I'm like, but they've oppressed you, so I can't get into it. I can't, because I don't understand her mindset. It's not making sense to me. Just like, oh, let's just have a pretty time. I don't know. So it's not going to work for me. It might for other people. They might just be like, let's not worry about that, let's just go for the fun times. I can't. So this is going to be leaving the home, and hopefully someone will be enjoying it and having a lovely time with it. So this is An Arrow to the Moon by Emily XR Pan. I am really interested in this one, but it has just been languishing on my shelf, so I want to double check that I am still interested and it will work for me, rather than just holding on to it, because I think it will. So this is a spellbinding reinterpretation of Romeo and Juliet filled with romance, magic and Chinese mythology. So I'm going to give it a little whirl and see what I think of it. Sadly, I've read, the chapters are very short, so I've read about like 13 pages. Again, it's YA, so it's fast paced, which is what I enjoy about YA, but I'm not being gripped by it. I don't know if it's too fast paced for what I need from anything that's got like a romance in it. I really like YA, like it often works for me. I don't mind kind of teenage voices in my books, but this one isn't hitting, which is a shame. We're introduced to the two protagonists, Luna Chang and Hunter Lee. We get chapters from both their perspectives. They randomly meet at a party, and that, I think that was one of the things that put me off on the wrong foot. I hate stuff like Spin the Bottle, 7 Minutes in Heaven, like all of those like weird 80s and 90s American teen games. And I just find forced intimacy really uncomfortable. I know some people enjoy it for like a freeing way of experimentation, but it absolutely makes me cringe. So that's what happens with both of those. And they don't actually kiss, they just have a chat in the room, and there's an attraction, and then they're both thinking about each other, and then you get a little bit of their lives. But it's not clicking. I don't really care. I don't feel I've got a grasp of either character. I don't feel I'm invested in them, and I can't read a story like this if I'm not rooting for them. So I'm going to pass this on again to someone where it is going to work, it is going to be their vibe, and they'll have a good time with it. So I'm going to end episode 1 here. I have made a start. I have got all of my husband's books on shelves now, and it is just the reorganisation and deciding how I'm going to put mine all back. So join me for episode 2, where hopefully I actually start putting some books back on the shelves in some organised form. Thanks so much for watching. Please get chatty in the comments. You know I love a chat, and happy reading, everyone.